the love month, good people. I hope you are experiencing love, even if it's just to yourself. It is very, very important to self-love and enjoy some of these small things in life. I see Richard laughing. You know, our topic next week is actually on matters mapenzi. That is what we shall be discussing next week. It's Valentine's week. And as the trendsetters, we must discuss something along those lines. So welcome, 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 all of you. This is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We are here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. We started in 2020 June. And we have been here since every Tuesday of the year, beginning January and ending in November. It's been an amazing journey, I must say. And we are honored to have you this evening. Looking forward to this wonderful session. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm a HR consultant with Atara Solutions. Now, Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training company. We offer 4 services, that is recruitment and selection. If you're looking for people to in your positions, then you need to get in touch with us. We also offer HR consultancy services, your HR audits, your job evaluations, your policy reviews and updates, your developing of policies as well. We also audit your compliance in terms of HR. We support you technically in all your HR projects. We also offer what we call HR manager outsourced. For those organizations that do not need a full-time HR person, we come, we support you, we establish the department if you don't have one. We also help you in managing your people, especially those organizations that do not require full-time HR. We take on that headache from you. And then we also offer learning and development, and part of what we do is making sure that you actually get it right. And that is part of the program we run every Tuesday from 8 p.m. We have I'm the host, and then I have 2 co-hosts. We have Richard J. Magoma. I'll give him a minute to introduce himself. But we have Catherine Sidandi. Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter. Catherine Sidandi is a social worker, by the way, and she's based in Mombasa. However, she can go wherever the work is. So if you have an opportunity for Catherine Sidandi, please do not forget to include her. Kindly make sure you're running inclusive trainings. Make sure you're not leaving anyone behind. And part of how you do that is engaging the services of a sign language interpreter. And for us, that is Catherine Sidandi, who does an amazing job. Catherine, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. We really, really are honored to have you. And then, of course, we have Richard Magoma. Richard, you can introduce yourself.
Moderator of choice, Grace Nzula, thank you so much for that introduction. The reason why I was laughing is if you fail to find somebody to love you, at least you can love yourself. My name is Richard J. Magoma. I'm a HR professional. I specialize in interview preparation and public speaking skills, but tonight we are going to learn how to lead ourselves. I was telling Grace that if you cannot lead yourself, then you do not have a moral authority to lead anybody or an organization. Ladies and gentlemen, the last time I saw Dr. Oginde was like 3 years ago in Mombasa, and he is an amazing, amazing presenter. We are going to enjoy, and we are going to pick insights that are going to catapult us into great leaders. Thank you so much. Let us enjoy.
Thank you for that, Richard. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here and for removing yourself, kujitolea. Direct translation. For the Ugandans here, ask your neighbor, or you can let me know. But thank you very much for being with us. Now, allow me to just give a shout out to our partners on Get It Right with Atara Solutions before we go ahead and start the session. But I hope that you're excited today and you're looking forward to learning. I see an amazing comment from Martha. She says that speakers this time around are top notch. Thank you very much for that comment, Martha. We appreciate that you have noticed that season 7, we don't joke around, and I'm sure Bishop will tell us a bit more about what 7 means in the Bible. But before that, allow me to give a shout out to our partners. We have Nile Front Cottages. Nile front cottages are cottages located in Jinja, Uganda. Now, if you're in Kenya, it's about 2 hours drive from Busia border, but you can just fly down there. If you have a private jet, even better, you can always land somewhere near there. Nile front is one of the most beautiful places I have been to. They're actually near where Lake Victoria meets a river Nile. It is such a beautiful sight. And there's one of the cottages where you can actually get both the sunset and the sunrise. It is so beautiful at Nile front cottages. They also run a restaurant in town of Jinja that is called a Skia restaurant, which is a restaurant that they actually support those with hearing impairment. The people who serve there are people who are have hearing impairment. So it's such a beautiful place, and they actually have the best ice cream in the whole of Uganda. And I can bet you on that. Brian Musisi, if you're here, you know what I'm talking about. So if you're looking for a place to stay in Jinja, if you're looking for a place to take your teams, your board, you can go to Nile Front Cottages down in Jinja. It is such an amazing place. We have Profiles International. Profiles International offer psychometric assessments. They are also the only people in the East and Western Africa who are have the mandate to offer Genos emotional intelligence coaching. So you need to get in touch with Profiles International if you want to become a Genos emotional intelligence coach, or you're looking for psychometric assessments. Now, we actually have a graduation coming up on the 21st of February, and yours truly will be among the graduates on the 21st with the emotional intelligence certification. So we are very excited, and you too can join us, become an emotional intelligence coach, or you can also take advantage of the offers they have in terms of psychometric assessments. We have K-Square HR Services. K-Square HR Services is a HR consulting firm located in Kigali, Rwanda. They offer all your HR support and training. They're actually running a HR for non-HR training happening in February. If you're looking for support in Kigali, Rwanda, if you're looking for people to help you navigate the HR systems around Kigali in Rwanda, then get in touch with K-Square HR Services, and they're bound to support you on that. We have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is a HR consulting and public relations company. They are located in Kampala, Uganda. This is headed by one of my very good friends, Mr. Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake is an executive coach who is a Gallup's Strengths certified coach. He has coached over 500 executives. Now, if you're looking for a coach to work with you, then you need to look no further than Herbert Zake. He's an amazing, amazing person. And Steadfast Quality Solutions, if you're looking for people to do your board evaluations or board trainings around Uganda, then Steadfast Quality Solutions will be your guy. We also have AR Insurance. AR Insurance, if you're looking for a WIBA for your Work Injury Benefits Act compliance, then AR have an amazing package. If you're looking for medical insurance, if you're looking for any insurance, your car insurance, among others, AR Insurance will be able to help you with that. And we have Hotel Sapphire. Hotel Sapphire have the most amazing vehicle to take you to the airport. I love that airport transfer. It's like a limo. If you're looking for a place where you want to enjoy love and life, and like we have said at the beginning, if you are not being loved, you need to first of all love yourself. So you need to visit Hotel Sapphire if you're down in Mombasa. They have an amazing band that plays every Friday, and I realized that they now have game night every Sunday. So if you're down in Mombasa, please go to Hotel Sapphire and get to experience the hospitality in Hotel Sapphire. They also offer conference facilities. Their conference is so beautiful. We actually had our tea party last year down at Hotel Sapphire in Mombasa. Then we have Tufaha Resort. Tufaha Resort is in Nanyuki. This is where we actually headed on the 12th of April. Please mark your calendars. On 12th of April, we will be going down to Tufaha Resort in Nanyuki. And this is an amazing place. You can check them online. They have beautiful, beautiful serenity. I am telling you, get to enjoy so much at Tufaha Resort, from their food to their rooms to their ambience to the swimming pool, which is heated, by the way. please go down to Tufaha Resort if you're around Nairobi. I mean, you're looking for a place to go and hang out in Nanyuki. Tufaha Resort is the place to be. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. If you're looking to study woodworking, if you want to understand basics in woodworking or advanced level of woodworking, Panessa Training Institute, please sign up. They have the January intake, I think, is closing this week, and then they will have another intake come April or May. We have Port Saco. If you're looking for a Saco to join, then Port Saco will be the best. They have very, very good packages in terms of interest rates, and they are offering very amazing customer service. And then we have Sotet Kinyumbani. Sotet Kinyumbani is a restaurant located in Nanyuki. Now, these guys are only selling African food, including mursik. Where in Nanyuki have you had mursik, my friends? You need to visit Sotet Kinyumbani. They have the freshest of vegetables, amazing chicken, amazing mbuzi, amazing. Their food is just out of this world. And you know how they manage to keep it fresh? They actually have an organic farm that they actually bring supplies from. So you can be sure that Sotet Kinyumbani, the food is just to die for, I tell you. And then we have our Growth Grid Mentorship Program, which is starting tomorrow. I don't know whether you've booked your slot. If you haven't and you really want to do this, then you have until midday tomorrow to sign up. And then we will be able to take you through this program, which is an 8-week program for HR professionals looking to move to managerial positions. And then we have protection of wages webinar coming up on the 20th of February. Now, this is one of the most amazing, if you've ever joined us for our legal intrigues segment, you know Kenyanjui does not become a number 2. So this time round, we want to know, can you demote people and interfere with their salaries? Are you allowed to surcharge people, and to what extent? And where is it covered? At what or in which law is what when it comes to protection of wages? Join us on the 20th. It is only going for 2,800, and it will be on Zoom from 2 p.m. to 5 o'clock. And for IHRM members, you will get to earn 1 CPD point. And of course, we will let you know about the program that is run by Catalid immediately as we go along with this presentation. So at this point in time, I know I have talked a lot, and I'm sure you came here to listen. Hey, I see you, Peggy. Hey, you're only waiting for Bishop. Yes. And I hope that you are able to share with us what is your expectation for today. And I see Rose Mora is saying, I was privileged to be a student during the final semester in my MBA before Bishop was inaugurated as a bishop. What a leader. The speaker is top-notch. I am here for a refresher after cultivating self-leadership course. Wow. Bishop, I am telling you today, expectations are high. But I am so sure you are totally up to it. So for those who do not, I know Bishop does not need introduction. However, for the sake of my friend Brian or Andrew in Uganda, who may not necessarily, let me just use Andrew because I know Andrew goes to Catholic Church. He may not have necessarily heard about Bishop. So Bishop, a lot of people call him Bishop, but he's actually Dr. Oginde. I don't know whether he's still to be called Bishop. He'll tell us just in a bit. But just 1 second. All right. So we have the privilege of having Dr. David Oginde, who is the chairman of the Kenya Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. He's the thought leader on matters leadership, governance, and the founder of the Catalid Associates. He's a leader in development firm, the Catalid Associates is a leadership development firm that trans courses, consultancy, and coaching for individuals and organizations. He's a PhD holder in organization leadership from Regent University in the USA, and Masters of Art in Leadership from Park University, and Bachelor of Architecture from the University of Nairobi. Bishop, I still remember that story about the building in Nairobi. He's the immediate former presiding bishop of Christ is the Answer Ministries, where he led several organizations transformational initiatives, placing CITAM as a cutting-edge institution. He's also the founding University Council chairman of the Mama Ngina University College, and he's married to Nancy, and they have 2 young adult children. And today we will be discussing leading from within, and we want to know how we can navigate self-leadership into organizational impact. Bishop Oginda, you can, or rather Dr. Oginda, you can take it away. I don't think we'll ever get rid of Bishop, so we might as well flow with it. So, and I'm not too sure whether it is supposed to be out, off, but I'm sure today you're in the capacity of leadership, not Bishop. So here you go, take it away.
Thank you, Grace. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that introduction and what marketing that you have done for all of us. With me here is Julia. I'll allow her to just introduce herself before we proceed from the Catalyst. She will tell you a bit of what the Catalyst does.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Ginde, for the opportunity, and thank you, Grace, for such great energy and such a good community that you have built here. We are grateful for the opportunity that you have given us. So my name is Julia. I serve with the Catalyst, managing the programs that we run at the Catalyst. And as probably Grace has briefly mentioned, the Catalyst is a leadership consultancy that runs courses. We do coaching, and we also run consultancy opportunities for organizations on matters leadership. And so in case you're in the space where you're looking for coaching or courses related to leadership, particularly self-leadership, which we'll be talking about today, we are the people you need to look for. Thank you once again, and we hope that this conversation today will be engaging. You'll ask questions, you'll share your feedback, and yeah, we hope that it will be incredible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia, for that brief introduction. And greetings to everybody who is on board. We are delighted to be part of this great platform as we consider matters to do with leadership. Grace asked me to share with us on matters leadership and its impact on organizational leadership and outcomes. So today I'll briefly introduce what self-leadership is all about, and then share something on how it impacts or how you practice that within an organizational setup. Now, so our topic today is leading from within, from self-leadership to organizational impact. Now, some of us may wonder what self-leadership is, especially those who may not have come across the term. But way of introduction, for a very long time, throughout history of leadership, leadership has been conceptualized as something that you do for others. So if I was to ask, as we normally do in our classes, for us to define what leadership is, the highest probability is that we will relate leadership with what we do for others. So we'll talk about influencing others, directing others, doing what, bringing people together. And so leadership is always this thing that you do for others. Now, the question that has arisen more recently, and where recently is in the last not more than 20 years. And that, if you compare with how long leadership has been with us, is a very recent thing. So people have wondered, how comes that over the years we have noticed that There are some great leaders who have led organizations, who have led nations, who have led armies, who have led teams in all kinds of areas and have done a superb job, have led companies to great profitability. And yet these people, when at some point or other, you find that they themselves either fail in one area or another, failure in the family, failure in their own individual lives, doing things that you never expected of them, sometimes just disappearing into oblivion after they leave their leadership positions. And so that question has captured the hearts and minds of leadership scholars to try and find out exactly what happens. And this is what led to several scholars beginning to study how can this be reversed? What is it that needs to be done so that leaders who have been very successful in leading others, leading organizations, do not themselves end up as failures in society, people who people do not really look up to. And so this is what led to this research. And in recent times, the whole concept of self-leadership came up, and it has been very extensively studied. It is still a growing field, a growing area, but several things have come out that have led to the conclusion that great leadership can only come out of a personal leadership. So this is what is called self-leadership, and today we are calling it leading from within. So what exactly is self-leadership? Self-leadership is the capacity of an individual to understand and appreciate who they are, and then to direct themselves towards a life of positive impact. I have highlighted 3 words there: understand, appreciate, and direct. It means that a person understands who they are, appreciates who they are, and then directs themselves, or what we would call in this context, lead themselves towards a life of positive impact. Peter Drucker says that being a self-leader is to serve as the chief, the captain, the president, or the CEO of your own life. These titles are used for people who are heads of organizations, who are heads of teams, who are heads of nations, who are heads of companies and corporates. And now, instead of just being that head of whatever it is, you become the head of your own life. You become the chief, the captain, the president, or the CEO of your own life. And we'll see how that then plays out in a personal leadership. So several people have commented on this idea of self-leadership. Covey says effective leaders must first become effective stewards of themselves. In other words, you cannot be an effective leader if you are not an effective steward of yourself. Stewardship, you know, is the careful use of any resource. So if you are the resource, then you want to make the best use of yourself, and that requires careful consideration of the things that you do. Self-leaders have the decision-making, problem-solving, and communication skills needed to become effective leaders. In other words, those people who have learned how to lead themselves have that capacity, therefore, to make decisions, to solve problems, and to communicate in a manner that is effective and touches the people that they lead. Another person has said, understanding and managing your inner world is what prepares you to understand and influence your outer world. If you do not understand how your inner world operates and manage it, it is not practically possible to influence the outer world that you are living in as a leader. So first manage yourself, and then you can effectively manage others. Otherwise, it becomes what we normally say, do as I say and not as I do. So there are many leaders who give instructions on what needs to be done, but they themselves are not doing that. And so they do not become the kind of role models that one would want to look up to. Self-leadership makes you to become that person that you expect other people to be. How do you get into self-leadership? This whole, what we are talking about today is a course that we cover in 18 sessions of 3 hours each. And so we are going to just kind of touch an overview of what this is all about. But here are steps to self-leadership. The first one is consciousness, or what we call self-awareness. That is where self-leadership begins. The second one is confidence, or what we call self-efficacy. When you have developed consciousness of who you are, that's what will lead you into confidence or self-efficacy. And we'll look at each of these in a short while, which leads to character or personal mastery. And then this leads to credibility or personal integrity. And that's what will get you into a place of self-leadership. So these are just but a few of the steps that can get you into a place of self-leadership, the kind of person that is in charge and in control of their own lives, who is a steward of themselves. Let's start with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability of a person to know and appreciate their individual uniqueness. One of the things that many of us, let me say some of us, have never come to appreciate is just how unique we are and to know what makes us that unique. And so when we get to know who we are and appreciate that individual uniqueness that comes from just how you are made up, your DNA, your personality, the way you do things, those are very unique attributes to you that nobody else on the surface of the earth since the creation of the world has that. You will get to know that the fact that our fingerprints have never been repeated since the creation of the world. Your fingerprints are unique to you. As I was introduced earlier, I did architecture as a student. And one of the most difficult things to do is to design within a very restricted space. So how the fingerprints in the small finger, somebody can design the billions of prints that have been done ever since the creation of the world still beats me to this day, and nothing has been repeated. it has now, in more recent technology, it has been found that even our iris, our eyes, are also unique. That's why these days you have gadgets that you can open by just looking at it, and it will be unique to you. Anybody else looking at it will not open, because those patterns in your eye are unique to you. What this tells us is that you are unique to yourself, that nobody else on the surface of the earth is like you. The implications of that is profound. So the key to self-awareness is, first of all, to know who you are. Not your name, but who you are as a person. What makes you unique? And normally when we do these courses, we help people to take personality tests and other tests that help you to discover who you are and other aspects of yourself that perhaps you have not known before or you have not been aware of. And then how you can use those special attributes that are you to get to be the person that you are meant to be. So the first is to know who you are. Second is to accept who you are. There are many of us who know who we are. We know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, we know our gifts, we know our skills, but we do not appreciate. We have not accepted that that is who I am. And you see this demonstrated in many ways. There are people who, because they do not accept who they are, they try to be somebody else. We have seen Black people who want to be white. We have seen white people who want to be Black. There are short people who want to be tall, and tall people want to be short, and so on and so forth. Just not accepting that this is who I am, and I am uniquely made, and therefore I can do that which is invested in me, that which is within me. So accepting who you are is a great journey towards self-leadership. Know who you are, accept who you are. And the third one, there are people who know who they are, have accepted who they are, but don't appreciate who they are. Many of us don't appreciate, so we compare, we compete, we fight with others, we look down on ourselves sometimes, or we look down on others because we think we are better than they are. And so this competition with other people is something that is constant within us. Many times we say that it is teenagers who suffer from, what do we call it, comparing themselves with others. But I've realized that it goes with us to old age, comparing ourselves with other people. And so if you have not known who you are, if you have not accepted who you are, and if you have not appreciated who you are, it means that whichever place you find yourself, you will be competing with the other people. You will be comparing yourself with other people. You will not be confident in yourself because you just don't appreciate who you are. Now, the implications of not doing that are great and sometimes grave. You will find people, therefore, who, even though they are in leadership, and even though they may be in very high-level leadership, because they have not accepted who they are, because they have not appreciated who they are, they keep fighting with other people, even those people who are their team members, who are below them. You'll find that a person cannot therefore allow others to grow under them. They will keep frustrating them because they fear that if this person is given opportunity, they will outshine me. And so you find a leader who will not allow people to thrive under their leadership because they want to be the only ones who are shining in that organization. But people who have developed personal confidence, people who know themselves, you will find that they have no problem allowing people to grow under their wings. So know who you are, accept who you are, appreciate who you are is a step towards self-awareness. The potential that is in you and the potential that is in me is amazing. In the picture that we have just seen, or we are seeing on the screen, is a picture of a caterpillar looking at itself in a mirror and seeing a butterfly. That is its future. And I would want to say that you may be as ugly as a caterpillar, but you have a future. And that future is beautiful if you only concentrate on developing yourself to that future, instead of competing, comparing, and fighting with other people. So Robert Louis Stevenson said, "To be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only end in life." To be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only purpose of life. If you are living somebody else's life, you are going to be a very frustrated individual. If you are competing and comparing yourself with other people, you are going to be a frustrated individual, because you can never become another person. Even if you are twin brothers or twin sisters, you are unique in yourself. So be yourself and live your life to your full potential. The second step we said is confidence or self-efficacy. This is the belief in one's capacity to accomplish tasks. Self-efficacy is the belief that I have within me what it takes to accomplish a task. Self-efficacy is what will lead you to confidence. And self-efficacy cannot come if you do not have the knowledge of yourself, which we have just talked about. So self-awareness is what leads you to self-efficacy, because then you will know what you are capable of doing. You will know that you are better at other people in some things, and there are people who are better at some things better than you. And that gives you the confidence when you are doing things that are within your capacity and within your ability, you can do them with great confidence. So self-efficacy, therefore, helps you to be a leader with confidence, or who has confidence, and leadership requires confidence. Self-efficacy is the belief by an individual in their capacity to accomplish tasks. Self-efficacy builds your confidence, and confidence leads to courage in leadership. And courage builds the capacity to confront difficult or dangerous situations. So you'll find that men and women in positions of leadership who have developed this self-efficacy or self-confidence are able to confront situations, are able to make decisions, even radical decisions, because they have that confidence that has developed from their knowledge of themselves. And it is only people who have developed that type of confidence that can be courageous enough in tough situations to make decisions that sometimes are not popular. The majority of us, when we are confronted with risky situations, dangerous situations where we need to make decisions, we tend to shy away, keep off, or allow somebody else to take those dangerous steps, because we are not confident that I'll be able to confront this situation and come out with good success. So a person who has internal self-efficacy is able to confront situations, and make decisions in no matter what the situation might be. The other thing that confidence does to us is it gives us internal security, and a leader requires internal security. Manning says, when we accept ourselves for what we are, we decrease our hunger for power or desire for the acceptance of others. That is, for me, very profound. When you see people who are clamoring for power, when you see people who are hungry for power, normally it tells you something about them. It tells you that perhaps part of the reason that they are clamoring for this power, part of the reason that they want recognition, part of the reason that they were beating everybody down is because it is only in so doing that they gain recognition or they gain satisfaction. And so you'll find leaders, therefore, who will harass everybody. They want, when they enter into an office, everybody's campus into hiding. And it gives them some sense of satisfaction, believing that people now realize who I am, how great I am, and so on. These people also have a great desire to be appreciated and accepted by others. It means that internally, they are not secure. But the people who have developed self-efficacy are so confident in themselves that they do not care, as it were, whether they are in positions of leadership or not. They do not care how much power they wield, and they will show great humility in serving people, even those who are lower than them, in what we call servant leadership. It is only people who have that knowledge of self, confidence in self, that can actually practice servant leadership. Other people will want to be served. They want to be appreciated. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be identified as the top of the world. But Manning says that when we accept ourselves for what we are, we decrease our hunger for power. We decrease our desire for acceptance by others. Why? Because our self-intimacy, our love for our own self, reinforces our inner sense of security. When we know ourselves, accept ourselves, we develop an inner sense of security. So you don't care what people say, you don't care what people do, you don't care how people treat you, because you have that internal satisfaction and inner confidence. If you call me a dog, I know I'm not a dog. So why should I take great offense? But if I sometimes imagine that people think I'm a dog, then I will take great offense. Self-confidence. Number 3 is character. Personal mastery. Character is the capacity to live a principled life guided by ethics and values. Character is the capacity to live a principled life guided by ethics and values. When a person has developed confidence, when a person has known who they are, they will not have to behave or do things to attract attention, to please people, to add to their value, and so on. And that is what leads you to live a principled life. In other words, you set up your own standards and you live by those standards, irrespective of what everybody else is doing. You have seen people or heard people say, when they have done something wrong or something that is unethical or not morally correct, they will say, excuse themselves and say, but everybody is doing it. In other words, their standard is everybody. Their standard is not themselves. The fact that everybody is doing it does not mean that I should not, or I should also do it, because I am not everybody. I am special. I am myself. And therefore, I will do that which I know is right. I will not do that which I know is wrong, because I live a principled life. So what that means, therefore, is that I must have personal mastery. Why personal mastery? This is the capacity of an individual to take charge of their passions and to cultivate positive disciplines, habits, and practices. Supposing you are a person who keeps time, and this is your normal practice. You keep time, you go in meetings on time, you keep your appointments and so on. Then you move to this organization and you find that people don't keep time, including the boss. The CEO never appears on time. Everybody else doesn't appear on time. What would you do? For some people, they will then fit in with the culture of that organization. So you'll find they're no longer keeping time. And if you ask them, why, how come these days you go late to work? Say, nobody keeps time in our place. Nobody keeps time. In other words, they have been driven to fit in within the mold of those people. But a person who has character, a person who has developed their self-leadership, has what we call personal mastery. In other words, I do what I know is right. I take charge of my passions, and that will help me to cultivate positive disciplines. It will help me to cultivate positive habits, and it will help me to cultivate positive practices. King Solomon, the wisest man that lived, said, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. When you do not have personal mastery, then you will do things that you know are wrong because you are not able to control yourself. You have heard people say, I don't know what happened. One thing led to another, and I found myself in this situation. It means you don't have personal control over your life, over yourself. Self-leadership means that I have self-control in every situation where I find myself. Number 4 is credibility. Credibility is a characteristic of being perceived by others as believable, confident, and trustworthy. When you have developed character, character leads you to credibility. How does that happen? Is that when your character, you practice what you say and you say what you practice over a period of time, consistently, then you become a credible person. Credibility is not something you do once in a while. It is that we have watched you over time and we have found you to be believable. You are trustworthy, and people perceive you to be so. As a leader, your members will observe your conduct under different settings before considering you credible. Every positive act you take is credited as an investment into your credibility account. So whenever you do something positive, people mentally, psychologically invest that into your account. They credit that into your credibility account. Anytime you do something negative, every negative act is debited from your account as a liability to your account. And so you may do something very small, but it will withdraw quite a significant portion from your credibility account. Some of the negative acts that we may involve in, you may find they wipe out your whole credibility account. So credibility is that place where you reach only because you have been consistent over a long period of time. And let me say here that credibility is not something you credit to yourself. I cannot say, for example, that I'm a credible person. I can say I'm an honest person, but I cannot say I'm a credible person. Credibility is attributed by other people. It is you who know me, who have worked with me, who have seen me in different circumstances and situations, who can declare me credible and who can therefore treat me as a credible person. So how do you practice this? One, De Hoc says, if you seek to be a leader of great impact, invest 50% of your time, that is your attention, your resources, in leading yourself. Your own purpose, your own ethics, your own principles, your motivation, your conduct. Spend 50% of your time building your own purpose, building your ethics, building your principles, developing your own internal motivation, your conduct. Then it says, dedicate at least 20% leading those with authority over you. In other words, leading your supervisor, leading your leader. Invest 20% of that. And in our classes, we have a whole session on how to lead your leader that helps you to understand how to invest that 20%, leading those people with authority over you. Then he says, commit 15% leading your peers. Those are people who are at the same level as you are. If you're a manager, your fellow managers. If you're a supervisor, your fellow supervisors, people you are with at the same level. And in our class where we talk about how to lead your peers, we talk about two kinds of peers. There are those people who are your allies, those people who believe in you, those people who are your confidence. They rejoice when you succeed. How do you lead them? Then there are those people who are saboteurs, people who wish you are dead or you are sacked or you don't succeed. They feel very bad when you succeed. They feel very bad when you are praised. How do you lead those people within your organization? But De Hoc says, spend 15% of your time leading your peers. Then he says, use the remainder to induce those you work for to understand and practice this theory. If you add there the totals there of the percentage, we already have 85%. So 85%, 50% leading yourself, 20% leading your supervisor, your leader, 15% leading your peers, and the remaining 15%, he says, that is what you use to lead those you work for. The people we call subordinate. If you don't understand that you should be working for your mislabeled subordinate, then you know nothing of leadership. You only know tyranny. So he says, lead yourself, lead your superiors, lead your peers, and free your people to do the same. All else is trivial. What is De Hoc saying here? De Hoc is saying is that self-leadership is like a disease that you pass on to another, if I use that. So instead of focusing on how to lead your people, focus on how to help your people to lead themselves. So if you help your team members to lead themselves, to be self-leaders, now think of a situation where you are in an organization or you are in a team where everybody is self-motivated, self-disciplined, self-driven, self. Can you imagine that situation? You don't need to push anybody. You don't need to supervise anybody. You don't need to, motivate anybody, because these people are self-motivated. They are self-driven. They are self. It becomes a circle that actually makes leadership within any organization or any team to be great to be in. I have had opportunity to work in such kind of situations, and I can tell you it is the most exciting place to be in, where you know that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, not because what they watch others doing, but because they are self-driven. They are doing what they know should be done. So, in closing, exceptional leaders distinguish themselves because of superior self-leadership. Live your life for you, not for anyone else. Don't let the fear of being judged, rejected, or disliked stop you from being yourself, said Sonia Parker. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Bishop. That was impactful. That is very profound. And I see a lot of love, a lot of love hearts and claps and kushangilia going down on there. And there is a class starting up on the 25th of February. For those who can join online, there's the online cohort is starting on 25th of February from the Catalid Associates Group or Limited. This is with David Oginde. It starts on the 25th of February to 25th of March. If you want to, they're calling it Establishing Your Leadership Roots. And if you want to attend the physical sessions, they start on the 7th of April. The February class is already full. So if you want to book this, I'm sure you can see office@thecatalid.com. Bishop, I'm wondering, you talked about leading those above you. Maybe you can tell us a point or two on how we can do that.
Come to the class. Leading those above you, let me just, one of the things is that, first of all, you must already, of course, lead yourself. You know how to lead yourself. And part of self-leadership is what we have said, valuing yourself. So when you're leading people above you, first it starts with the respect. You can only lead the people above you with the respect. You cannot disrespect your leader and expect them to hear you, to listen to you, to give them guidance. So that is where it starts. And there are several others.
All right. And that tells you that you really need to join the leadership class with the Catalid under the leadership of Bishop Oginde. And Julia, you've sent to host and panelists. If you can just send to everyone details about that. And then is there a matrix or a tool that we can use for self-assessment? That's from Emmanuel.
Yes. For self-leadership, for self-assessment, like we said, there are several tools, personality tests, work value tests, and other tests that will give you different aspects of yourself, because this is trying to get to know yourself as much as possible. So I'm sure many of us are familiar with several tests that are available in the market. DISC, for example, is a great personality test that is used by various ones that will help you to just know your characteristics and how you relate with other people of different temperaments. There are temperaments tests that will tell you what kind of temperament you have. There are other personality tests that we can use, and we have some of these that we normally share with individuals, and you are able to take those tests. The other test that will help you know how you work with teams. How are you a team player? Are you not a team player? What are your strengths and weaknesses within a team? And therefore, knowing these things sometimes we think that, let me put it the other way around. There is no such a person as a bad person. All of us are good. It is just how we use or manage our negative sides, because we sometimes, some of us allow our negative sides to overwhelm our positive sides. So when you get to know that, say, for example, I am a very short-tempered person, any little thing will cause me to blow up. Once I know that I'm a short-tempered person, then there are steps that I can take so that I don't always find myself shouting at people. Just that self-knowledge that I'm short-tempered and accepting that I'm short-tempered. And then appreciating that, by the way, there are some situations that short temper can be very useful. There are very few, but they can. Helps you to know how to conduct yourself in any given situation, which is sometimes what we call emotional intelligence, knowing how to handle your emotions in any given situation. So there are all these tools that you can actually use to test and find out just who am I. And having known that, that is not the end of it, is then what can I do if this is who I am?
Wow, and I think you're aligned. Paul Ngogi had just posted, where is emotional intelligence in the journey of self-leadership? And Julia, you can post that again. Sitati, the details have been shared. Margaret Sitati, the details for the class have been shared, and they'll be shared again and again. But Bishop, maybe you can comment. Paul is saying, where is the emotional intelligence in the journey of self-leadership?
It is at the very center of self-leadership, because emotional intelligence is one of those personal mastery tools. You remember we talked about personal mastery. How do I control or manage myself? Emotional intelligence is part of how you master and manage yourself now from an emotional point of view. So people who are emotionally intelligent are able to appreciate the emotions of others and know how to manage the emotions of others, manage their own emotions, and self-awareness is part of the emotional intelligence.
All right, and there's okay. There's Audrey who is saying, I think this is important. How would you lead in a toxic and abusive space when living is not yet a viable option?
Excellent. One of the classes we deal with toxic leadership and how to survive in that environment. There are a lot of things that one needs to do. And again, it starts from that self-awareness situation, leading your leader, the wisdom that you use to be able to get the leader to be on your side or you to be on the leader's side without being a sycophant. Because some people, what they do is they become sycophants. Whatever the leader says, you do, because you don't want the trouble. Like we say in Kenya, mi sitaki maneno. So you just do what the leader wants. And sometimes the leader can be requiring you to do the wrong thing. How can you stand up to that? And how, without causing this person to destroy your life? So toxic environment is a common thing in some organizations, and knowing how to handle yourself in that situation has to do with, first, how you manage yourself, but secondly, how you lead your leader.
Right. For those who are asking whether we'll share the recording, yes, we will upload it on our YouTube channel and we will be able to share the link. For those who are asking whether the Catalyst Leadership Series has a cost, yes, it does. And you can get in touch. The number has been shared and you can get in touch with them and you'll be guided on how that will be. Jacinta is saying, how do you deal with leaders who don't take initiative of leading and making tough decisions?
Just ask again.
How do you deal with leaders who do not take initiative or want to make tough decisions?
Are not able to take tough decisions.
Yes.
All right. Again, it's part of leading the leader. like I said, the first thing is respect. Don't show me that I don't know what I'm doing. The moment you show me that I am afraid, I am weak, I am a coward, all those kinds of things, then I will not appreciate your help. But once you appreciate who the leader is and make them comfortable, it means that you can actually help them to make the decision. You can encourage them. For example, just saying something like, by the way, this needs to be done. What do you think we should do? And then they're afraid to take that decision. You could recommend, could we do this? Could I get somebody to help us with that? What about if we ask so-and-so to do this? You make suggestions that still hold them in respect, that do not make them feel like you're looking down upon them. And many times when you have won the confidence of your leader, you can lead them in any direction, including in such times of decision making. So the great thing is first to win the confidence of your leader.
All right. Richard, did you have a question for Bishop? You're on mute.
Dr. Oginda, the question I could like to ask you is, when somebody has done their inner work and they are in the trajectory of realizing their self-leadership, and they're in an environment where people are not realizing this self-leadership, what should they do? The other question is, motivation, I think, is one of the most important components of developing one's self-leadership. Where do you source this self-motivation so that you can keep on going?
Oh, great questions. When you are working with people who are not self-driven, self-motivated, they are not self-leaders. That's why we said, if you remember De Hoc, said, first of all, develop yourself. Use 50% of your resources time to develop yourself. It is like what those of us who have flown in an airline, when you get in before they take off, they say, in the unlikely event that the oxygen levels drop, a mask will drop from above you. Put on your mask first and then help anybody else that is around you. The first time I had that, I felt this is so selfish, especially being a pastor, being a Christian. You should love others more than you love yourself. It sounded interesting, but the whole thing is, when you have taken care of yourself, then you can help take care of others. So developing your self-leadership will help you to learn how to help others. So develop 50%, then begin to help the people above you, begin to help the people, your peers, and then help those people who are below you. In other words, it is a culture change that you are developing around you. And it will take time, but eventually you may find that actually you are creating an environment that people begin to learn to take personal responsibility and do things for themselves without being pushed like a wheelbarrow. How and where do we get motivation? Great motivation comes from just realizing who you are and just the amazing potential that is within you. And part of self-leadership says that when you commit, for example, to undertake a task, which is born out of self-efficacy, when you accomplish that task, motivate yourself. Go for a holiday. If it was a big deal, you had this big project, you didn't know you would ever accomplish it, and you do it. reward yourself and go for a holiday somewhere. If it is a small thing, even a small project that was you are really working on, buy yourself a sweet, go for lunch and eat something special. It's called self-reward. And in self-leadership, self-reward is one of the ways of motivating yourself. So instead of waiting for somebody to give you a bonus, give yourself a bonus. And as you do that over and over again, you'll find that you are more self-motivated than waiting for other people to give you accolades. And many times people don't. You know, you have done a great work, nobody even recognizes, especially if you are in a toxic environment like with the one we described earlier. When you do good, people even are jealous. They won't tell you. They want to pull you down. And so if you're depending on external motivation, you can be very discouraged. So learn to motivate yourself through various ways of self-reward, self-appraisal, and what was I going to say? Praising yourself, as it were. Not necessarily loudly. Don't tell people I'm praising myself, even if you don't praise me. I know I did a good job. But internally, you are satisfied that you did a good job. One of the ways I've found myself in self-motivation is doing a good work every time. When I do a good work every time, whatever I lay my hands upon to do, I want to give it my very best shot. And when it comes out nicely, whether people say so or not, at least I go home and say, that was well done. And it gives you motivation to do the next one.
Thank you, Dr. Oginda. The other last question I could like to ask, you working very hard to get into self-leadership, but there is that element of failure. How do you deal consistent failure?
I hope it is not consistent.
And Dr. maybe you can combine that with the aspect of self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Yes.
Thank you. Let me start with self-sabotage and then we go to failure. Self-sabotage happens mainly happens when we are competing with other people. When we compare ourselves with other people. So you set standards that are beyond your capacity. You set goals that you cannot reach. And what happens? You then fail. And that failure could have been predicted because certainly this is not within your area. I say this a lot, especially for people who are in the stage of developing their careers. Some of us go for careers that will give us most money. So you're told, oh, this career is very lucrative. You know, even getting jobs is not difficult. And so you even go to school, you even go to college to learn that profession but it is totally not in your area of strength. So when you finally get to the place where you need to use the skills that you learned in school or in college, or you even got a degree in, you are really struggling. Because people who are good in that area are doing very well. You are struggling, you are bored, sometimes you are frustrated. And the thing is, you sabotaged yourself by choosing the wrong career. You sabotaged yourself by setting goals that were too high for you. You sabotage yourself by making decisions that lead you in the wrong direction. That's what we call self-sabotage. So self-awareness helps you to make choices that work within your strength. And that's what will build you into a great leader. There is no career, there is no profession in this world that is bad. There are people who are making money in little things that you never imagined people would make money in, but they are enjoying it. I talked about one time about this person who is doing what you call detail cleaning of a car. This young man approached me when I was a pastor and said, "Pastor, I would like you to come and to clean your car." I said, "My car is generally very clean." He said, "No, there's something we are doing called detail cleaning." And Nick finally persuaded me to release my car for cleaning. I asked him, he said, "You leave it with us for 3 to 4 days. I said, "Cleaning a car 3 to 4 days? What are you doing?" Say, "You bring it." The day I went to pick that car, I couldn't believe that it was my car. I mean, that thing was sparkling better than when I got it from the shop. Later, he had just worked for about a year or less. People were bringing him cars. He told me of this car that was brought from DRC Congo on a truck for that detail cleaning. The guy is doing roaring business, and it is not cheap, but he's making money. A graduate. So there is nowhere, nothing that you cannot do that will not give you money. It depends. Is it in your strength? Is it in your passion? Those things, when you do things in your passion, it will give you money. So don't sabotage yourself. I've said a lot on that. Failure is part of the journey to success. I do not know anybody who has ever been successful without failure in their journey. In fact, I'm in the process of writing a book called The Paradox of Failure. Very interesting lessons on failure. Maybe it is one of the things we should talk about one of these days. We do not have the time. But failure is a stepping stone to success. So when you fail, don't kill yourself. You are not the first one, and you will not be the last.
All right. Would you mind to share Nick contact Bishop? I don't know
Yes,
what
I
one.
don't mind sharing Nick's contact.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he will be very happy, just like you have. Let me just see if I have it here.
Okay, that is from Paul. At least I know Paul.
Oh, you know Paul?
Yes, I know Paul Mboru, who wants Nick's contact.
The Nick's contact is 0729 296.
Who is Nick?
Who is Nick?
Hmm.
Let me give the contact, then I'll tell you who Nick is.
Okay.
0729 296 718. I've just noticed that you are not listening, Grace.
I have.
To my
0729 296 718.
To my great presentation about Nick.
Oh, okay.
Nick is the one who does car detailing.
Oh, the car detailing, the one from Congo. I didn't get the name.
No, he's not from Congo. He's from Kenya. But I was saying people even bring him cars from Congo and other places.
Okay. All right.
He is right here in Nairobi, Karen, where he does this car detailing. You take him your car, you pick it, you think it is a brand new one.
Oh. Yes, I must admit, I was busy looking for the other question.
Sorry, I was just joking.
No, it's okay. No problem. That's a good one. All right. I know we can be here forever, and I don't think we'll exhaust these questions. Nick's number, I have put it on the chat for everyone who wants Nick's number. It's on the chat. You can just scroll and you will see it there. Now you have marketed Nick, Bishop. So
yeah, because he does a good job. And I was just saying that when you do what you believe in, it doesn't matter what you do. You can be a cobbler, you will make great money. But you can go and be a doctor and spend 6 years in the university, but it's not in your area of strength. You'll be a very frustrated person. Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. Maybe the last thing we can say. Somebody is saying, would you say that it is not the outside circumstances that determine outcomes, but who you have developed yourself to be?
Would you say that?
Would you say that it's not the outside circumstances that determine the outcome, but who you have developed yourself to be?
Well put. Well put. Your circumstances do not determine who you become or who you are. It is
That's
who
correct.
you are and who you develop yourself to be.
Mother is saying, Bishop, we can listen to you again and again. I know we can be here all the time. Bishop, if you ever wondered whether your calling was just in church, I can tell you no. I think your ministry has gone beyond a certain congregation. I think it's Bishop to the world. And we are privileged to share in your calling this evening. And I'm sure that the team here has gotten to some great nuggets that they can start implementing back into coming. When is he coming to Tanzania? We will let you know when Catalid Tanzania branch starts. But you can join the online classes.
Invite us to come to Tanzania. We will come over.
Exactly. Please make an invitation and happy to come. Please join the Catalid class. Julia has been kind enough to share the details. The online class is starting on the 25th of February. The physical class will start on 7th of April. So you can get in touch with the Catalid for the costing. Yes, it's not free. You may need to pay something for the time and research and all that has been done. And right. Yes. Somebody is saying, how do you deal with integrity issues? I'm not too sure we want to start that conversation now. Bishop, do you have one-liner for leaders with integrity issues?
It was, if you may have noticed, it's one of the steps in self-leadership. You remember we said integrity, credibility, character are part of the self-leadership. Part of why we end up in corruption, the industry that I work in, which is very vibrant, by the way, is because people want to be who they are not. You want to build a big house to impress others. You want to buy a big car because you want to impress others. And so you go and take a loan that you cannot repay. You go and steal so that you can keep a face. But if you have developed self-confidence in who you are, you do not need to impress anybody. You live your life, you're comfortable. I don't need to impress anyone. And I walk my journey to the level that I am able to. But when you want to impress people, yes, you will steal. You will circumvent. You will take corners. And that is what ends up people violating their values, their ethics, because you want to live a life or you want to put a face that actually you are not. So self-leadership really helps you to be proud of who you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter how rich you may be.
Certainly. At least Bishop to wave for us. Bishop. He has switched on his camera then.
To do what?
To wave.
Oh. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Bishop, for being here and for delivering. And I hope that you continue this leadership gospel to more people. And we are honored to have hosted you this evening. And I see people are laughing and they're passing their thumbs up, their love hearts, their celebratory.
Thank you very much.
Please follow us on Instagram at Ara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Ara Solutions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and join our WhatsApp group to get to know what's coming up on Get It Right with Atara Solutions. At this point in time, Bishop, if you can give us your parting shot.
Oh, I think I've parted already.
Yes, I know you have given us your quotable quote, but one more.
What I would say is
yes.
Be yourself, and it will surprise you how far you can go. Don't compete with anyone. Don't compare yourself with anyone. You are a unique individual that has great potential to impact the world. So the greatest leaders are people who are confident in themselves and are able to do what is within their capacity to do. That would be my call. Forget about competing with the rat race, and all those things will only get you into an accident.
Thank you very much, Bishop. We really have learned a lot today. And 450 people, you clearly are an influence. And I am glad that we had this conversation today after a very long time. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you, Catherine Sidandi, Richard Magoma, and Julia. Thank you for the support. Dr. Oginde, always a pleasure. May God keep using you. And to you, our audience, may you go ye and change the world. Go ye and change the world, one person at a time. So thank you very much, and have yourselves a good night. See you next Tuesday as we engage on the Valentine week. We are discussing love and money. Yes, yes, yes. Is money the language of love? Is the question we seek to answer on Tuesday. So we shall see you next Tuesday, same place, same time, as we look at love and money. And after that, we shall be unpacking NSSF as well, because we have new rates coming in. So yes, it's Get It Right with Atara Solutions, where we seek or we empower you to get it right. Good night, good people.